when you start out in the personal development space, you are very motivated, right? You have a lot of motivation and there are a lot of promises. Just follow this advice, like using this strategy or that strategy, like productivity hacks, or just focusing on your nutrition, and all your dreams will come true. Just focus on these strategies. But as people continue using them, they notice that you notice that most often you are just disappointed, right? Because you notice that things in reality don't work out that way. So you want to reach your higher goals, but in reality you use these strategies and these hacks, and most often they don't work out as you wanted to, or not at all, right? And it feels frustrating. You just think yourself, what the fuck is this? They told me if I follow this advice, I follow that advice, it will work out. I thought this strategy will work out, but it didn't, right? So what is this about? Why do these things very often not work out as people promise to us, the gurus promise to? Well, it's very easy because there's this iceberg theory. So, at the top, above the ocean, you see this iceberg, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And here, the tip of the iceberg are the strategies. But most things that really change you deeply, really, really deeply, are below the water. It's where the real iceberg is, where the most of the iceberg is. Okay? So basically, what these strategies and just taking action alone, by the way, taking action is not always bad, but just focusing solely on taking action with superficial strategies very often just leads to frustration. Then you want to don't take anything at all. So most often these things don't work out to really change you deeply, right? So the real reason why things don't work out is because a lot of these things need to be changed on a way deeper level in your subconscious. The most reasons why you haven't reached your goals in all kinds of areas, right? Like health or finances, your purpose, is because there are like certain limits that were conditioned into you when you were a child. So you learned as a child that there are things you can have and there are things you can't have. Or there's just a certain level of happiness that you can have, but you can have more than that. And until you break these limits in your subconscious, you will just re-experience this reality. And by focusing these strategies, very often what it makes is that you feel just more frustrated. You use a lot of these strategies, and yes, you tell yourself, well, a little bit it worked out, but it never works out fully if you're honest, right? It works kind of a little bit, but never fully, right? So kind of a little bit you feel better, but never really fully long term and like you want to, right? Because it's necessary to focus on the subconscious and to change its limitations that come from our past, and at the end it comes from our childhood and from your ancestors. These limitations form of beliefs or emotions that were given to you, right? And there are 3 steps how you can change that, so that will really be a lasting change, so that you can stay in this new reality. You can create what you truly want without getting back or just making it superficial, okay? Without going back or making it superficial. So the first step is awareness. You become aware, first of all. For example, like, let's give an example in money. So my parents were like savers in money. So they saved a lot of money. And I didn't know that. And I was trying to hoard money. But I was doing it a feeling out of lack, right? So I really asked myself basically at the start, how were my parents thinking about money? What did I learn about money? You can ask it about any other area as well, like relationships. What did you learn about relationships? How were your parents in relationships, right? How were the dynamic? How was the feeling about that, right? And what was the end result? How happy were they? That's usually how the level that you will have as well, or something kind of similar, right? So you're just sharpen your awareness by looking, okay, like what are right now the limits, or who are you right now, right? And look also to your childhood, what were the beliefs in your childhood about this topic, by asking yourself questions, okay? By looking at how you are right now, how's reality right now, and then you look, okay, where do I want to go, right? How do you need to be, right? How would it look like if you would overcome these limits? What will be your beliefs? Not just strategies, what would be your beliefs, right? Your beliefs, how would you feel emotionally? And awareness means also this awareness in form of consciousness, practicing this consciousness. Because most often, what most people don't understand, so the strategies are kind of just a justification. So, you find usually the strategies that are aligned with your subconscious. So, for example, if you were conditioned to have low self-esteem, by coincidence, no matter what kind of strategies you try out, all of them seem to be like trash. Because your subconscious wants to recreate this low self-esteem. So you kind of like do a lot on this surface level, but your subconscious tries to recreate this, like, okay, to recreate that you will stay in a low self-esteem until you become conscious of that. Okay? So the first step is, like I said, is awareness, also in form of conscious, like meditation. Meditate on every hour a little bit, or just become conscious by breathing, by asking yourself, okay, what do I think? What do I feel? Who I am? So that you understand, right? What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking? This comes from your psyche, right? From your subconscious very often. As you become aware of that, you will have more impact about yourself. You will understand better why are things as they are. And the second thing is acceptance. Acceptance in form of not resisting it anymore, or just observing the resistance, in form of allowing these emotions, especially the emotional level, allowing it to be, and not focusing too much on the thoughts, not over focusing this overthinking, rather observing this fear. And from this fear is where the overthinking comes from, for example, right? So as I said, strategies are just a justification of your subconscious. You just try to justify something. Even if you won't search for strategies, subconscious tries to recreate itself, right? If you believe, for example, okay, you are determined to be fat, what you will do is, even though you will go to the gym, subconsciously you will sabotage yourself, right? You will sabotage yourself with your nutrition. You will sabotage yourself, and it will end up in the same loop again. So on the surface, it looks like you do something, but on the subconscious, you still hold into something. That's why acceptance is important, that you let go of it fully, because as you let go first of this emotional attachment, right, this is when you can start to decide what kind of future you want to have, right? So why this acceptance part is important is because then you're not restricted anymore by your past. After that step, you can start to go beyond your past. And before that, it's not really possible. It's just a recreation of the past. Okay? Now, the third step is like creation. You choose consciously what you want to create after the first two steps, right? Now you can choose, okay, who do I want to be, right? Who do I want to be? Hold, I think, hold my beliefs about the world and myself will be. Hold my beliefs about certain things that I want to do be it money or relationships, okay? Hold my beliefs be in that. So you need to have a lot of clarity, of course, there. This is also the first step, like awareness, right? But the difference is now you choose consciously that you step into this. You decide, okay, you are already right now this person. And what helps you to believe that more are things like visualization, and of course taking aligned action. You still take action, but only the necessary aligned action. Okay, so for example, visualization. You visualize every day this ideal version. So how would your ideal day look like, right? How do you walk there? How do you feel? What kind of people are there and how do they perceive you, right? How are you there? What are your end results there? How do you appear? How do you feel? What, right? On which place are you? How is the weather? Where are you? What kind of clothes are you wearing, right? And visualizing it by first becoming consciousness. This is important. You first become conscious to let go of all of that, to detach from this old programming or the stress. And then you close your eyes and you visualize it and you feel it like you already have it. Not like you want to catch it, but like you already have it. The key word is relaxation. The more relaxed you are, right? The more relaxed you are, the better it will work. So the more you can just relax and let go, the better visualization will work. And the other thing is, the more intense you feel these emotions, the more aligned it is. It must come from your intuition rather than from society. It doesn't come from that. It usually comes from society in your past. So that were goals that were implanted into you. I can also make another video about that. Just comment below about implanted goals, or how to recognize the difference, whether a goal is implanted from society or if you really want to go for that. Okay. So using these techniques like visualization every day, either in the morning or in the evening, because there your subconscious is the most open. You want to do it in a relaxed state. You want to become conscious before that, and then visualize it very clearly. And if you don't have clarity, then you start with the most simple hints that you have. What are the little hints that you have? Be it a place or just a feeling. You visualize how you are there in the scene and just having this feeling. And then the image becomes broader and broader and broader and broader and bigger and bigger. And one day you will have a full picture of everything that you want. Okay. And yeah, so basically at the end, these are the 3 steps. So awareness in form of consciousness, in form of intellectual awareness, like what do you want, where are you, and where do you want to be in 1 year, for example, in half year, right? Second is acceptance. True acceptance means to not resist anymore. To become conscious of that, you need first to become conscious of the resistance itself. Otherwise, it's not resistance. And then when you realize these triggers, for example, this resistance of your mind or these doubts that you have, now you can allow this to be, to feel it consciously, right? Now you can experience that. The third step is conscious creation. Conscious is the key word. You decide consciously what you want to create, and you use techniques like visualization. Or another thing, by the way, is confirmation. Finding every day a confirmation that your visualization, your dream will become true, and taking one action in this direction every day, if possible, okay? So yeah, comment below how this video helped you or what kind of video you want to see next time, and see ya.